Hey guys, and welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've been on YouTube, but there is a lot that has been going on. For one, I just got back from the F1 race in Vegas. I have to tell you, it was an amazing time, but there'll be a video about that later. So today we're going to be in the shop doing a little bit of maintenance. As you can tell, I was able to pick up another 4-post lift, and that is sitting in the garage and making this so much better. I'm now able to move some cars around and actually have a little space. I've got the G-Wagon behind me, which needs a ton of work on its own, but today we're not going to mess with that either. We're going to be working on my wife's Lexus. I'm not the biggest fan of these cars. I think that they run really well and they're made very well, but the styling of them is just not for me. But the Serpentine belt started to squeal, and it's been a while since it's been replaced. Now, this one is not your typical Serpentine belt, so I thought what I would do is kind of take you through how we actually replace it. And there's no better way to get started on that than to move this G-Wagon and pull the Lexus in. Let's do just that. Now that we've got the Lexus in here, we can go ahead and replace the Serpentine belt. The best thing to do is go ahead and take a look underneath the hood, where I think you'll find that this is going to be a little different than you might have expected. So stay tuned. All right, so here is our engine, and traditionally you would find all of the accessory belts right here, but because this is one of those sideways mounted front wheel drive vehicles, everything that we're gonna need to mess with is down here. So the bolt that is directly in front of us that you can see is the one that we will be loosening and tightening so that we can get the belts on and off. You can see the belt goes down in there. It does not appear to have too much good room. So what are we going to do? We're actually going to take off this tire, and then that'll give us some more access. So the first thing, let's get that tire off. All right, guys, so the first thing that we need to do is obviously get the tire off the ground, which I have done. One of the cool things that I've ordered in the past are these little pucks that have this channel in it that if you have a pinch weld, you can put this right on there and then jack. And that's what I've done here because it recommends using the pinch welds. And I'm not a fan of pinch welds, but this makes me feel a little better. So we've got that under there. And now we can take off all these lugs. Hopefully they come off pretty nicely. Let's see. Like a glove. Now, with these locking lugs, I would not recommend using the impact. I would actually get like a breaker bar or something like that. But I am in a little bit of a rush today, and it does work, but you can strip them out. So I would suggest avoiding that. All right, guys, with the wheel removed, you can see that there's this inner liner, and these are 10mm bolts on there. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Just take these off. So now this can come out of the way. At least I think it can. There's probably another bolt somewhere. It feels like something else is holding it on, but we'll just push it out of the way. For now, that should be fine. Now we can make it into here where we can actually see the belt. All right, so now that we've got that shield removed, we can kind of get up in there. And right there, this is actually the part that puts the tension on the belt, and you can see that there's a little hole. What we're going to do is take an Allen key, put it in that hole, and as soon as we loosen the belt, we can push the Allen key in and it will hold it so that the tension will be removed and we can get the belt on and off without having to deal with a lock. So now that we know that part, so for example, here's our Allen key, and we can put that right into the hole. So you can see that we could put this into here. And now, when I loosen it, we'll push that Allen key in and it'll hold it in place. You can actually see the Allen key from up here. You can see that this is the bolt that we're going to be using, and that's the one that will take the tension off, and the Allen key is right below it. You can kind of see it there. But basically, the first thing that we've got to do is break that loose. So the good news is I have one of these really long, kind of thin breaker bars. It's a 14 millimeter at the end, and I can put this in, get on the bolt, push this forward so that I can release the tension, and then push that little Allen key in, which I have now used a screw because it was smaller and fit in there a little nicer. But I will show you from the bottom that I have done just that. So down here we can now see that one bolt sticking out right there is holding that bracket into place. And now you can see that the belt actually has a lot of slack on it, and we can start taking it off from this underside. We do need to make sure that we know the orientation, and I'll put that on the screen now. All right, so here is the new belt and here is the old belt. I always like to take them together and just make sure that I've got the right length. And this looks good, so we're gonna put the new belt on in the exact order that I'm showing you again. So underneath, I can see this, but it's easier to start it from the top, I believe, and put it down, and you're gonna have to tilt it a little bit to get through this one pulley. And once you get past that part, you should be pretty good to go. All right, guys, now that we have the Serpentine belt back on there, we can release the tension, hopefully. So that was my bolt that I had put in there. All right, guys, you can see from up here that it's very difficult to get to. Down here made it a lot easier. So all I really had to do was once I put the pin in that one hole, I was able to loosen everything up and take it out all basically from down on this end. I will tell you that this is the pulley that matters most. It's that one, because that is the one that you will be loosening so that it will allow you to take it off. But also, that's where you push it back on at the end. And you can see my belt is on there. It is not quite snug yet. It's got to get started and then it should straighten itself out. So I guess we should start her up. All right, guys, now that the belt's on, let's start her up and make sure that belt's gonna spin correctly. All of that is looking good from right up here. Everything seems to be aligned correctly. All right, now we can check just from down here. Everything looks like it is aligned. That belt looks beautiful right there. All right, let's put all of this back together and put the wheel on, and we are good. That belt is done. Well, guys, it had been a little while since we had been in the garage, and this was a good way to get me back into it. This was not a difficult job, but a little tedious, a little bit finicky trying to get all the parts to work. The biggest thing that I can be thankful for is that I had this toolkit, which basically just allows you to replace belts on cars much easier. This will be listed in the description, so if you want to get one of these, which I highly recommend, you definitely want to get that. The last thing that I have that I will list in the description as well are these pucks that go right into the frame rail. These really save yourself from either bending them or slipping off and causing catastrophic failure to your project. So I will also list these in the description. Basically everything that we use today will be listed so that if you need it, you can pick it up off of Amazon and not have to wait very long. All right, guys, well, there's a ton going on in the garage and a ton more coming out. I'm not leaving to go anywhere, so you will be seeing more from me. It just won't be as often as I would like, but that's okay for now. We're gonna keep working through this until we're done. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. We have different giveaways going on right now. We've got one from Super Clean, so make sure to check out those videos as well. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it taught you how to do your serpentine belt. And if not, well, you at least got to hang out with me for a little bit. We'll catch you next time. Whew, work.